What's up? My name's Megiddo, and today I'm going to show you everything that you're going to need to know about the Pioneer DDJ 1000 screens. Here we go. Okay, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that little demo. I really wanted to show you what the screen looks like when you were doing a performance before I got into kind of the nitty-gritty features and what you can change and what you can customize with this screen. So the first thing that I really want to mention is the fact that this is not a complete circle screen. If you see right here, down below, this little cutout where you see sync and master, and then up at top where you see 3 and 1 and deck, that is not an actual screen. For example, when I turn it off, you're going to still see sync, beat sync, and master, and you'll see 3, deck, and 1 on the left jog wheel. And on the right jog wheel, you're going to see sync, beat sync, and master, but at the top you're going to see 2, deck, and 4 for the different decks. So when you turn on the unit, the first thing you're going to see is the Pioneer logo on the left jog wheel, and on the right jog wheel, which you can't see right now, is the record box logo. Okay, so I've taken a second and I have pulled up everything that you can see on this screen. I'm going to go through each little thing, and then I'm going to show you what you can take out and what you can customize with this screen. So first and foremost, you're going to see the album artwork up here, and then you're going to see the BPM. And then over here you can see the actual key of the song. This is a song I wrote, and this is in D minor. Currently it's at plus or minus 0 semitones, but if I change the keyboard or the key shift and I start shifting the key, it will actually show you what key it's shifting to and how many semitones it has changed. You can do plus and then also minus. You can go backwards and forwards. Moving on, over here you're going to see what is controlling the tempo range. Right now I have it set to plus and minus 6, so when I move the fader, you can see that the information is changing, and it will show you the percentage of change on the screen as well. Now I can also change this to change the tempo range to plus and minus 10, and it can go up and down from there. I can do plus and minus 16. And I can do full on wide, which means all the way to 0 and then all the way to 340. I'm just going to change that right back to plus and minus 6. So then right here in the very center, you're going to see the waveform of the track, and then you can also see the hot cues that I've set. And those colors of the hot cues correlate with the pad color. So when I press the first pad, you can't see the pads on the screen right now because I really wanted to zoom in, but when I press the first pad, which is red, you can see that the first pad is red. Now let's say I wanted to go to pad 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, F. Right here it jumps to F, and the orange, it's an orange pad with an orange hot cue. So that's really cool. That kind of helps you mentally see where you are. The colors, I think that's great. To really help you when you're in the middle of a performance. Another interesting thing is that when you go to different hot cues, let's say I'm at this purple hot cue, if you look right here on the needle marker actually changes colors too, so that's really cool. So that kind of correlates with, you know, what hot cue you're at, with what pad you're at, with where the needle is at, and that just continues to help mark in your mind where you are in the track. So as you can see right here, green, red, kind of a light blue, another green, purple, kind of a teal color, an orange, a royal blue, and kind of a yellow right here. So that's really cool. I really like that feature. I think it just adds more with your mind being able to recognize the color on the pads to the color of your hot cues, and that helps you get to where you want to go quicker. I think that was a great idea that they implemented. All right, moving on, what you're going to see right down here, this is called the cue scope. Now, I really like the cue scope a lot. I thought it was stupid at first, or kind of like, why is this here? But it really gives a lot more value to me than the waveform with all these hot cues. And let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. So right here you can see E and F are really close together. Now look right here on the waveform. You can't even see E and F on there because the waveform is so small. Now when I remove some of these features on the screen, the waveform does get a little bit bigger, but it's not as clear as it is on this cue scope. So I have come to really kind of like that cue scope as it kind of ticks down to where you're going. For example, watch what it does when I press play. So as you can see right there, it really helps you kind of see a lot clearer where you are in relation to those cue points. Let's say you wanted to do a cue juggling routine. That is a really great feature to kind of being able to see things a little bit more clearly. All right, moving on, we go to right down here and you're going to see either the time elapsed or the time remaining. So right now I have it to time elapsed, so it's going to show you where you are in the track. So this is the first part of the track, and this is kind of towards the end of the track. So 1 minute and 41 seconds. And then if I was to change in the settings to remaining, when I press the first cue point, you can see it's 3 minutes and 6 seconds. Or towards the end, you can see it's 1 minute and 24 seconds. I'm going to change that back. Okay, and then like I was saying, sync, beat sync, and master. Master lets you know what tempo is controlling both decks in terms of it would be the master tempo. And then sync, you can have the beat sync on and off. I typically have it off when I play, but you can always throw it on in case of an emergency mix and you needed to do something really quick. But yeah, it populates right there. Another thing that I really wanted to show you is that when you press slip, the track in the middle actually turns red. And so that also gives an indicator because the slip button, when you press the slip button, is actually red as well. So that's just another indicator that something is happening on the screen and that you can be aware, so that when you're playing you can be like, oh, I'm looking down, it's red, the slip reverse is on, so that when I tried to press a hot cue to go to another place in the track, it's not going to go to that other place in the track, it's only going to go to that place in the track temporarily. So then when you press the slip button off, you can see it turns white. Or when you're on a different deck, it turns blue. Deck 3 is blue, deck 1 is white. Now I have it really zoomed in right now. I do want to let you know that there are white lights on the outer rim of the jog wheel, but I will let you know also that when this is, as I was talking about this being white and this being blue, the color on the LED around the jog wheel does not change. It remains white all the time. So I know that Denon on their flagship media player has the actual ring and the center change color as well, but I really wanted you to be aware of that. Okay, so now that I've gone through all the features, I want to show you what you can actually customize and how the different things on the screen will change locations as you add or remove things. So currently, I have everything on the screen that can be on the screen. Now, what I want to do here is I'm going to go to my settings using Command comma in Record Box, and I'm going to click on Controller, and on the Deck section or the Deck tab, you're going to scroll all the way down until you see Jog. There are a lot of different things that you can change, but really, in my opinion, it's not as customizable as I think it should have been or should be. So the first thing is you can see that there's a ring brightness, Now currently on the screen you can't see the outer ring light around the jog wheel because I really wanted you to see a zoomed in feature, but that brightness can be turned completely off or go from 1 to 3. Okay, so now there's the brightness of the display, and that ranges from 1 to 5. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And if you would like my opinion on how bright these screens are, I have not yet tested it in broad daylight, but when I have the lights off and I'm trying to perform or trying to DJ, it's great. Okay, moving on, I want to take out the artwork, and when I do take out the artwork, you're going to see that I'm going to put it back in and take it out again. You're going to see a couple things shift. First thing is you're going to see the tempo shifts completely up right here. And then next you're going to see that the key information and the tempo information will switch to the center. Now I do like this. I think that the artwork was a good idea. I think that they should have been able to where you can just have the whole screen be the artwork. And I think maybe that will be a firmware update, but if I was a betting man, I would say that it'll probably be a feature on the next screen on the next DDJ 1000 Mark II. But I kind of like this. I don't really think that the artwork adds a lot of value when you have a lot of these things. I'm going to show you different combinations of what you can go through. But to me, honestly, the way it is displayed on this screen is not really adding value to me. I can't add my logo to this. I can't customize what is being displayed. It's so small that it really doesn't add value to me as a DJ. Like, when I say add value, I'm saying if I had my logo in the middle of this screen, that would look really professional when I'm at a gig or something like that. That just adds to my brand. But when I have just some small little picture of the album art, I mean, that's cool and everything, but I don't think it adds a whole lot of value practically. Okay, so the next thing that I want to show you is when you remove the Q scope, there's a couple of different things that happen. Now let me just toggle back and forth and you can kind of see for yourself. The first thing that I want to talk to you about is that the tempo shifts down, and then you've got the key information that shifts over and the tempo information that kind of shifts back over instead of being in the center. The next thing that you're going to see is that the time is still displayed, whether it's elapsed or remaining. But then, like I was saying, the waveform gets bigger. Now, like I was saying, I do think that it's still too small on the screen to really add value on these cue points that are like right before the drop and then at the drop. But I think that this looks very clean at the same time. And then as we go down to the different features, there's the time mode. So here's elapsed, and then here's remaining. As I just click back and forth, you can kind of see that. So here's what it looks like when I have the Q scope on. I think that this looks pretty clean. But then also, if you did want to display artwork, I would take out the Q scope, and this is my personal preference on what looks nice, aesthetically pleasing to the eye. I would say that this also looks presentable, where you have the album artwork and then also the information down here. Because as you can see, when you do this, where you can display the artwork, the tempo shifts down here, and then right here you can see that you have the key information and the tempo information goes down. And then also you have continuing the time elapsed or remaining. So this looks pretty clean. I like this as well. So my personal preference is to sacrifice the artwork and display the Q scope, because I think that that really helps you see where you are on the track. You can't remove the waveform from the center. I'm sure they may add some different customizable features in future software updates, but right now I think that this right now looks really clean and also adds value to me as a DJ. And I think that's two important things that you need to think about is adding value to you as a DJ and your performance, and then also looking aesthetically pleasing to the eye, not only for you, but for others that may come up and look at your controller or as you're performing on stage. Like in my performance, I showed you a couple of different things that can be displayed as you are performing. One thing, I'm going to play this track. When I do the different pad effects from the beat jump, you're going to see that it will display the loop on the screen. I really like that a lot. I think that's very helpful. That really adds a lot of value to me as a DJ. The next thing I wanted to show you that would be displayed is if you set a loop. So right now I'm just going to set a 4-bar loop, and then you can make it longer or shorter. So, and this is what that sounds like. So that's another cool little feature. I really like the whole looping and knowing where you are in a loop. That was one thing that I really liked about the Traktor S4 is that their controller really allowed you to know what loop you were setting and quickly understand where you were in that loop. And I think that with that information being displayed right here, that is very valuable to me as a DJ, is knowing where I am on the controller with my loops. Hey, thank you so much for tuning in. My name's Megiddo. Please like and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments about the Pioneer DDJ 1000 and their screens, put it in the comments below and I will answer it as quick as I can. Thanks for stopping by. See ya. Peace.